Today I'm going to be showing you this Prismatic Hunter build that lets you embrace your inner Ice Ninja by infinitely proccing invisibility, spamming shurikens, and shattering the battlefield. What's up Guardians, it's Novers and welcome back, or if you're new, welcome into the channel. The new Hunter exotic Mask of Fealty combined with Tonics' Mastery and multiple artifact mods make for an absolutely fantastic and fun build, so let's get straight into the details. Starting off, the main weapon synergizing with this build is the brand new Stasis Rocket Sidearm from Iron Banner, Tonics' Mastery with Air Trigger and Chill Clip. We're also going to be using the Mask of Fealty Hunter Helmet, which reads, Withering Blade hits and bounces create a small stasis crystal and refund melee energy. That percentage is 7.5%. Using Withering Blade to shatter crystals or frozen targets releases a spread of Withering Blades. Also, the first and third bounces spawn stasis crystals. Moving on to the subclass, starting off with the super. Honestly, the super is preference. I just like to use Silk Strike and Tether with this build. For the class ability, we'll be using Gambler's Dodge, as it allows you to fully refund your melee ability when you dodge near enemies, which obviously will allow you to get another shuriken instantly. Now for the melee, we'll be using the Withering Blade, as this is the stasis shuriken ability that the exotic is centered around. For the grenade, we'll be using Duskfield Grenade to apply slow and freeze debuffs. For the first aspect, we'll be using Winter's Shroud, which allows you to slow nearby targets when dodging. Slowing targets briefly increases your class ability regeneration as well, allowing you to chain dodges more frequently. The next aspect is Stylus Executioner. This allows you to get True Sight and Invisibility upon defeating a target affected by an elemental debuff. Also, after performing Stylus Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets. Now, the significance of using this aspect is when paired with Tonics' Mastery with Chill Clip, you'll be able to proc invisibility on almost every single kill, as Chill Clip on this rocket sidearm slows enemies, which is a debuff. And also, along with the invisibility, you'll get True Sight, meaning you'll be able to locate enemies through walls all around the battlefield, allowing for easier positioning. Now for the first fragment, we have Facet of Protection, which gives you damage resistance when surrounded by nearby combatants. This also is increased when you are transcendent. The next fragment is Facet of Ruin. This allows you to increase the size and damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target, and increases the area of effect of solar ignitions. However, we're only going to be utilizing the stasis part of this fragment. This is an essential fragment as it allows you to do even more damage when you shatter targets in general or even just with your shuriken. Next is Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power grants either Amplified, Restoration, Frost Armor, Woven Mail, or Overshield based on the damage type of your equipped super. Now I mentioned earlier that I like using Silk Strike and Tether, so in this case I would get either Woven Mail or Avoid Overshield. Now this is up to you if you want to use this aspect, but I think that this is very essential in a lot of different activities, as it allows you to get even more health and damage resistance. Next is Facet of Command. Freezing or suppressing a target, reload your equipped weapons, and increases weapon stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness. Defeating frozen or suppressed targets creates a stasis shard or void breach. Now this is going to allow you to use your shuriken or even your Tonics' Mastery to reload your Tonics' Mastery and give it multiple buffs, as well as spawn stasis shards which refund your melee energy. The final fragment on Prismatic we'll be using is Facet of Devotion. Defeating targets afflicted with stasis or strand debuffs grants bonus light transcendence energy. This is going to allow you to use a mostly darkness set of abilities and still get transcendence due to this fragment. Now if you'd like, you're welcome to replace Facet of Purpose with another fragment that utilizes transcendence boosts, but I just personally really like Facet of Purpose and Facet of Devotion for those two reasons. Now let's look at some notable artifact mods. Starting off with Authorized Mods Melee. The armor energy costs of all armor mods affecting your melee are significantly discounted. Now I like using this because the entire build is really just focused on the shuriken melee ability, so this allows you to put on multiple types of mods without having to worry about the cost of them. Next is One with Frost. While Frost Armor is active, Stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. Stasis swords gain increased guard resistance. Now, as I said earlier in the video, I am using Silk Strike and Tether, so if you're going to want to use this artifact mod, you're going to need to use Silence and Squall. Next is Wind Chill. Rapid Stasis weapon precision hits grant you a stack of Frost Armor. Rapid precision hits from weapons with the Dark Ether Reaper origin trait grant you more stacks of Frost Armor. Now, personally, I only am going to be utilizing the boost here, as it reads, dealing stasis weapons weapon damage to slowed targets has the chance to spawn a stasis shard. Next is my favorite, Crystalline Converter. Gather stasis shards to gain stacks of Crystalline Converter. Your next powered stasis melee hit creates stasis crystals equal to the number of stacks you have. The boost is stasis weapon final blows. After activating your class ability, spawn a stasis shard. Now this artifact mod is going to synergize with the Mask of Fealty and allow you to shatter even more stasis crystals, creating a much larger area of effect. Next is Armor of Aramis. While Frost Armor is active, taking critical damage from combatants causes you to emit a freezing burst. The boost is increased radius and strength of this freezing burst. Now again, this is another mod that you really are only going to be able to use a lot if you do have the Silence and Squall super on. Next is Hail the Storm. Shattering stasis crystals releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. The boost is shattering frozen targets and stasis crystals deals increased damage. Next is Brain Freeze. Frozen combatants become surrounded by chilling fog, which slows combatants that aren't already. Weapons with the Dark Ether Reaper origin trait deal more damage to frozen combatants. Now the final artifact mod is Served Cold. Picking up a stasis shard grants you class ability energy, and picking up a Void Breach grants you melee energy. Now with this build, it will allow you to get both class ability and melee energy from picking up stasis shards, and with the right tonic boosts you will be spamming both of these abilities constantly, as you will be getting tons of stasis shards. Now for the volatile tonics, the first tonic that you can use is the Refined Tonic of Protecting Frost, which reads, while Frost Armor is active, primary ammo stasis weapons deal bonus damage. Also, it boosts the Wind Chill and Armor of Aramis artifact perks. The second tonic is Refined Tonic of Stasis Crystallization, which reads, shattering a stasis crystal grants you a small amount of class ability energy. It also boosts Crystalline Converter and Hail the Storm. Now let's move on to the armor mods. Starting with the helmet, we have Heavy Ammo Finder, Heavy Ammo Scout, and Stasis Siphon. This will allow you to get orbs of power from your kills with your Tenacious Mastery, as well as generate heavy ammo more frequently for you and your allies. Now for your arms, you're going to run Focusing Strike, Melee Kickstart, and Momentum Transfer, which are 3 different ways to quickly refund your melee energy. For your chest piece, run 3 damage resistance mods pertaining to the threat of the activity. For your legs, run Invigoration, Recuperation, and Elemental Charge. Finally, for your class ability, run Outreach, Powerful Attraction, and Reaper. Alrighty, now that we have finished the armor mods, we're going to be talking about a couple different stats that you need to prioritize with this build. Now, I would recommend going for mobility, resilience, and strength, as well as discipline as a 4th stat. I would recommend getting tier 10 resilience, tier 10 mobility, and tier 10 strength if you can, at least as close as possible. Now that we've gone over the details of the build, I'm going to be telling you about the gameplay loop with this build. Now, if you are familiar with the combination blow Assassin's Cowl build on Hunter, this is fairly similar, just in a different range. Now with this build, you're going to want to dodge to quickly proc your melee near enemies and spam the Withering Blades everywhere. Now, once you run out of melees or class abilities, I would recommend using your Tenacious Mastery as much as possible to freeze enemies, slow enemies, and proc more stasis shards, which will allow you to get your melee back much quicker. Now, once you have Transcendence, I would use that as quickly as possible, throw your grenade to get quicker melee regeneration and vice versa, and chain that to keep Transcendence up as long as possible. And if you find yourself in a bit of a pickle, I would use your super just to get some more Transcendence energy and also clear huge waves of enemies. Alrighty Guardians, well that is the basis of the build. I really hope you enjoyed watching today's video. Before you go, would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on so you don't miss any future builds or any Destiny content. Also, comment down below any builds or suggestions you'd like to see, and drop a like on the video as it's free and it just takes 1 click and it helps me out an absolute ton. If you made it this far, comment pickle. Have a great rest of your day, Guardians, and peace.